Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the large format Modix 3D printer with the 0.8 millimeter nozzle. So inside Prusaslicer we have separate Modix settings that can be found on the workstation register. So you want to make sure that your printer, filament, and printer settings are set to the second extruder, because that is the extruder that's on the 0.8. So you'll bring in your file the same way that you would normally bring in a file for Prusaslicer. Make sure it's positioned appropriately, and then hit slice. So this particular part has a really heavy infill, so we want to make sure we're going to watch it closely. We've been having issues with it, and then we've got a really large brim as well. But the difference here for the Modix is that we're going to upload everything via the Modix's Wi-Fi. So go ahead and export your G code, but you're going to save it to a spot on your desktop or on the L drive so that you can access it. Actually, since we're not on the Wi-Fi for the school, you're going to want to save it to a local folder. So I'm just going to replace this one that I already have. Hit X. So once you're on here, once you're done with that, we're going to go over to the machine, make sure that the bed is turned on. So there's a 2-zone bed on the Modix, so you're going to want to make sure that you use these hard switches on the left and the right of the machine on the bottom front to make sure whatever bed section you're using is on. They're both set to 65 degrees Celsius. So you turn those on, and then you can turn the machine on. This switch is located on the back left of the machine. So once you flip that on, you're going to be greeted with this window on the front control box, and then this error is going to come up, and that basically means that it just needs you to boot up the Wi-Fi on the actual controller. So if you go down to the console menu that you see below and type in this M552 space S2, that'll actually turn the Wi-Fi on for the actual controller. So, and this is how you access the keyboard, is this window, or this little button up here on the top right hand corner. So once the Wi-Fi is broadcasting, you can go into your Wi-Fi settings and actually click on NPDM, which is the Wi-Fi itself, and the code is NPDM 2020. That's the password for that Wi-Fi. And then once you're on the Wi-Fi, you can go onto the go into the IP address of the printer, which is 192.162.2.100, and you'll be greeted with this dialog box here where you can have full control over the printer. So once you're in here and it's showing idle, you can go over here to upload and start, and you will grab your file. So once this uploads, the printer will start moving, so you want to make sure that the platform's clear and everything's ready to go, and then from there we'll go over to the printer and make sure that the first layer is starting correctly. So this is going to auto level with about 50 probe points, so that's going to take a few minutes to get through that, and then it'll start the print. And from there, that first layer is super critical that it adheres properly, so you may need to baby step the Z as you go. So on the printer, in the main print dialog box, there's a baby step option, and you can move the Z in increments of 0.02 millimeters, either up or down, and usually it tends to be a little high, so you can baby step it down as you see fit, and or slow the printer down as well. So that is all you need to know for this, and there will be a separate video on changing filament and other things regarding this printer.